Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. You are watching the Nordic Championship, but you already knew that already as we're going into the second series of the day, Game 2 between nDurance and Roligan, where Roligan started off with a very convincing win in Game 1.
No, nDurance started off with a very convincing win in Game 1, right?
Yeah, didn't I say that?
I thought you said Roligan.
Did I do that? Oh God, did I?
Or am I trolling you?
I don't know if you're trolling me right now.
I would never.
You would never do that live.
I would never do that live. nDurance, by the way, coming in with a couple of losses early on in the tournament, but now with 3 straight wins, should they take this one home, so 2 straight wins is another way to say that. I mean, I've been hyping up the Swedish teams. I think that Atlantis and PPK were the 2 top teams, so I was a bit sad at first when we did not get to see them. But now, as we're seeing nDurance on the Rift, with 2 straight wins, I'm suspecting that they're going to pick up a 3rd here. They are looking like a top contender for sure.
Yeah, I mean, nDurance, we kind of haven't talked too much about the Finnish teams. We sort of have been seeing them as the underdogs coming into this tournament, as Finland has yet to have any success in any national tournaments in the Nordic scene. Now, nDurance, the way they played that map and the way they got all of their kills, every single kill they got up until they started rolling with the big team fights was so secure. It was nothing there to stop Alec from going down mid lane. There was nothing there to save Croxy when he got out of position. The Abyssal Voyage with the Tom Kench, with the extra mobility also with the Karma, also with all of the shields, with the tankiness of the front line. The only thing nDurance was worrying about was the Shogat in the hands of Nihus that also turned out to be not that big of a problem, as they just took control of every objective before they went for it. I mean, I know I'm hyping this a lot. I know I'll start to become an nDurance fanboy right now, but I'm just so impressed the way they play that game.
Yeah, and I think the safety that you talked about their play is the big factor, that together with the patience that they had. I mean, they were playing up against a pick comp with a Twin Shadows Glacial Augment Morgana as well as a Sack. That's going to be able to catch you out from a whole screen away. And I think they were caught twice in a 38-minute game. That is so impressive.
3 kills only went to Roligan. And I mean, this is not the way we expected this to go. Roligan is number 3 in the standings right now. They've been looking very strong against most of the teams they've been facing off against, only having slight trouble from time to time to finish off the games. Now starting to play from behind versus nDurance, you can actually see that they're lacking that kind of game plan. They know how to play from ahead, and they know how to engage as a team, but they tried to engage a big one once that game. And I think nDurance, they basically just ran away, kiting a little bit, using the Devour and laughing as they ran.
Yeah, pretty much. The Tom Kench coming up huge to somewhat counter out the pick comp. As we're getting into pick and ban, the Cassiopeia has the ban against Alec, which is just a targeted one. I'm interested to see what position they're going to target, though. I think that jungle is a good option. I also think that top lane is a good option. Get the top lane carries away from nDisco.
Yeah, absolutely. nDisco on the Kled was really the player for nDurance that made their backline, or gave their backline all the space they needed. And especially since he also went with the Guardian Angel, Kled already is hard to kill with Skarl passive. You get him down, he flashes out, or he just sticks around, keeps DPSing together with his Sejuani, and he's back again. And it's so hard to deal with that, especially when you're falling behind. He was up 5-0, something like that, after, was it 20 minutes?
He was 5:05, I think, at 18 minutes or something.
18 minutes. I mean,
really huge.
It's so hard to deal with that. And especially, we're going to have to give so much credit to Heku, the jungler of nDurance, as he was always on point. And also, I'm talking so much about nDurance, but Roligan, Tronen was there, right? A lot of the times Tronen was there, but they just had the game sense or the ward coverage or both to just know when to go for the invade and when not to, when to start off the fights and when to back off. They kept reading him so well, and that is not easy to do.
Yeah, both of the teams actually tracking the enemy jungler really well, doing a good job in that respect of the game. No early kills on either side, if I remember
it's
correctly.
true.
No ganks like burning through the summoner spells and disrupting the early flow of the game, and that just goes to show how good these teams are at keeping track of the enemy jungler, which is a very important skill in League of Legends.
Yeah, these two teams really stepping it up a notch in this tournament, showing the way you want to play if you want to be among the best. We kept hyping Sweden a lot, and I'm sad that we didn't get to see those. But looking at these two teams, I mean, I don't think we could have watched a better game than the last one.
Totally agree with you. I was surprised by nDurance how well they were able to come up. As we said, died 3 times in a 38-minute game against the pick comp. Speaking of the team comps right now, it looks like the clear focus is on towards Alec. I was just going to mention that I would have liked to see a Xayah ban here. I like the Xayah ban on blue side to deny the potential for the Xayah Rakan as the first 2 picks from the red side. Instead, it's going to be the Caitlyn ban, so we'll see if nDurance wants to take the Xayah away, or if they want to go for something else, maybe a Sejuani or a Kha'Zix in the jungle.
I'm very interested to see how Roligan are going to play around the Tristana of Acitor, because that was kind of the slow AD carry. And you could see Acitor in the early stage of the game just being there for the turret damage, really. And it was actually Nanidisk up top lane who did most of the DPS. Now, Kled banned. Skarner also banned, gonna mention that, and together with Olaf and the Xayah pick for nDurance Gaming, as you called it.
Yeah, they're looking for the Rakan here. If Roligan wants to be really cute, they could take the Rakan. It's not a great champion without the Xayah. The only strong dual lane that I know of is Rakan Kalista, and Kalista's not really a big metagame champion right now, so I'm suspecting that Roligan will just give the Rakan over to nDurance for that strong duo lane. Jungle focus has been strong though with Skarner and Olaf off the table, so I'm expecting to see something like a Sejuani here. I like it in combination with a Braum. I think that's a great duo to pick up.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we already saw the synergy that Heku and Nanidisk had together with the Sejuani. And also now looking at the Tristana pick and the Braum coming up from Roligan eSport. Of course, they're going to show their bot lane. They're fairly confident we're going to see a Rakan being picked by nDurance Gaming in this rotation. At the same time, I'm not too sure about Croxy on the Tristana, but of course, being without the Caitlyn, not having too many options to go to, although I would have preferred to see him play Warriors, as I think it fits his playstyle so much more.
It seems like the priorities for all of these AD carries is pretty much Caitlyn, Tristana, Varus, and then Xayah is kind of the wild card that's good together with the Rakan. Speaking of Xayah Rakan, though, that has not been the pickups for nDurance Gaming. Going with the Karma instead. It's a flex pick, as we saw Yamarook take it in the mid lane. But this should be a Rakan ban in the second phase. And ooh, Alec with the Vladimir.
This is strange, I gotta say, because Alec, we were talking about him as being the big mid lane carry, and Jamaru is a very interesting player as well, because he carried that game definitely, but from like a support mid lane perspective, just poking a lot with Karma and being there with the shields. Alec, as a player, I believe his playstyle is so much heavier on the big DPS solo outplay kind of mid laners. With Vladimir, scales kind of slowly, and also, like, of course, you can outplay your opponent 1 versus 1, but he's kind of easy to disengage from. I'm really not sure about this pick, and of course, Rakan now is going to be banned by Roligan eSport, no Xayah Rakan bottom lane, and the Jarvan ban for nDurance Gaming.
This is going to be hard for Tronen. The Vladimir pick, assuming it's going to go into the mid lane, which I think it is, although it could be top, I think it's going to go to Alec, is so weak early on in the laning phase. This Karma will just be able to shove the lane over and over before level 9. Once Alec gets to like level 7, 8, 9, he's going to be able to get the sustain with the Q, but even then he's not going to have the best of wave clears. We saw last game just a wave clear battle going down between the Orianna and the Karma about who could push in the mid lane and then roam and help their jungler out. With the Karma versus the Vladimir matchup, that is going to be so hard for Alec, and Tronen is going to have so little support from his mid laner, especially if the Karma stays with the teleport. And with an aggressive playmaking jungler, that's going to be even harder with a mid laner with low pressure. So I'm almost hoping this Vladimir goes towards the top lane, but then you're also like playing a team comp with no real tanks. So weird pick so far from Roligan. I'm not convinced.
Yeah, Roligan is not convincing us, but at the same time, I mean, this might be something they have been pocketing for a long time going into this tournament. They have been kind of dominating a lot of the games they've been playing. So maybe this is something they've been saving. And we're just going to have to wait and see. So far, I completely agree with you. I think it's a strange choice to go with the Nidalee jungle as well into the Vladimir. We're lacking a lot of CC right now, and into the Sejuani with the Karma who can just run away and easily just outshield all of the poke and Nidalee really can do. I mean, this is strange. Also, the very late power spikes from Vladimir and Tristana, those are also very strange going into this second game.
And this is a bunch of flex picks coming in from nDurance. Pretty much anyone except for the Sejuani and the Sion could go anywhere. We could have Shen support, Shen top lane. We could have Sion mid lane, Sion top lane. We could have Karma mid, top, or support. I don't think it's going to be Karma top. So I'm interested to see what they're going to do. If you'd put me on the spot, I'd say it's going to be a Shen support and a Sion top. I am not sure, though. Those two could swap around to their heart's content. So I'm very interested to see which champion is going to go where here.
I'm also very interested in seeing this completely different kind of team comp from nDurance Gaming, as last game was all about sieging, getting the objective control. Going now instead with the Saya instead of Tristana, meaning of course you have a lot of DPS in Saya, but not anything near Tristana's range. And together with that, the Shen support down bottom lane. This is very different, but I do like it. I mean, nDurance Gaming, with all of these flex picks, made it really difficult for Roligan eSport to decide which their last pick would be. Now going with the Ornn top lane, they got the double tank with Ornn and Braum. Of course, a sort of like healthy mid laner, of course, as Vladimir has a lot of HP. But at the same time, like I'm gonna just flash back to what you said earlier. It's a strange combination with the Vladimir and the Nidalee, considering Nidalee want to go for the invades, and Vladimir will get out-pushed in mid lane by the Karma.
Absolutely. The Nidalee is going to have such a hard time if the Karma is able to keep the waves pushed out, has the TP as well for the extra mobility, so will be able to come in and support the Sejuani in the jungle if the Nidalee should go on aggressive invades. We should mention, though, that in this 1v1 matchup, not taking any of the laners into consideration, Nidalee will have a lot of pressure early on towards the Sejuani. Will be able to out-duel the Sejuani early on. Will be able to clear the jungle really quickly. But even if the Nidalee is able to snowball, look at this game towards later stages. What are the best counters to poke? Hard engage and tanks. Those are the two things. Like, tanks don't really care about a Nidalee spear hitting you in the face, and when Nidalee wants to stay and throw those max range spears, you want to have like a Sion ulting on you with a Sejuani and like a Shen on top, and that's exactly what we have on nDurance. So I think their team comp is good at shutting down Tronen's Nidalee. I think this Nidalee needs to snowball early on, and that is going to be a tall task when your mid laner is going to be out-pressured early on.
Yeah, absolutely. And also nDurance, the team that really likes to dictate the fights, to take control. And they have so many ways to both engage and disengage fights. And I was questioning the Karma mid lane pick by Yamiro at first. Now, after game one, I'm loving it. It's such a versatile pick. And Roligan trying with a little bit of an invade. It's actually just going to walk out of there. Got one ward down, so they're gonna know where Heku starts, which is very important between these two junglers, as Nidalee wants to go with the invades. We also saw last game being a lot about the junglers. The junglers getting all of the map pressure down. Interestingly enough, Tronen does not have any items.
That could be... yeah, that's probably a mistake.
I'm not sure if this is some huge cheese play gonna recall and get... Like, what can you get if you save all of your gold and you just recall without any jungle items?
You're not gonna hit level 2 of your first camp without the jungle item, and I think the game has just realized.
That is so huge. Yeah, that is a big mistake. I was trying to make the best of it, and it's like, maybe this is some kind of crazy cheese, but just like you said it, that's not level 2 red buff.
I'm very interested to see what the admin verdict is going to be here, because this is going to be up to the admin if they're going to be able to remake or if the game is just going to keep playing on from here. And it looks like the game is just going to be resumed with Tronen not having his jungle item. I mean, he's not going to hit level 2, or this is absolutely huge.
I mean, to be fair, that's his mistake.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, it's a big one. Of course, it's a big game in this tournament. So obviously, they're going to try to like level a little bit with the admin and hopefully like they want to ask at least. But yeah, that's a good call. I mean, you have to take responsibility for what happened. And this means Roligan will not have any jungle pressure at all in the early stage.
And we just talked about the Nidalee having the advantage 1v1 early over the Sejuani, wanting to put that early pressure on. That's going to be slowed down by so much at this point, and this is an absolute disaster for Roligan esports. When it comes to actually not buying a starting item, I was starting to confuse Nidalee with the Ornn, because we've been seeing Ornn actually open the LCK, just getting refill potion early on, because you're able to buy in the lane. So you're able to pick up like refill potion and then endurance shield really early on. So that is the strategy you can go for. Unfortunately, that item buying passive does not transition over to the Nidalee, so Tranen is having a really rough time early on.
And Heku is abusing this. And also the worst part, I think, is that since they went for the invade, like they were spotted out, so Heku knew that Tranen did not have any items, and that must be the worst part. Now Heku, he goes inwards the jungle, knowing exactly now where Tranen started, and he's just gonna have the time of his life in his jungle. He's gonna wait, get all of the XP he needs, and then he's gonna start with the terrible ganks that led to NDG to the victory of Game 1.
Yeah, and looking at this Nidalee, like if you're not able to snowball early on, what are you looking to do on this carry jungle champion? You're looking to put on some pressure with the ganks, but since you have no innate CC on the Nidalee, you need the crowd control from your laners to set that up. So looking at that, what do we have? No CC in the mid lane, except for slow, which we don't really care about. Some amount of setup in the bottom lane, but there's a Shen there to keep the Saya safe, and after level 6, the Saya ultimate is going to be able to keep them safe as well. And in the top lane, it's just a big tank versus tank battle. So I have a very hard time seeing Tranen being able to snowball this with the ganks. So what are you looking to do then? If you can't snowball early, if you can't get the ganks down, you're looking to transition into a poke champion later on, but then you're up against hard engage and big tanks. This is a disaster for Tranen and Roligan.
Yeah, this is definitely going to hurt them and the team morale as well. But I really enjoy to see that Tranen just doing his best right now. He's actually on equal CS with Heku. And Heku, of course, is happy with this, but Tranen still has the opportunity to go in for some invades.
Ooh.
Although Heku, as one puts down the wards, he has been caught out here as Tranen tries to dodge the auto attacks to just avoid the slow and the extra damage. But here comes Heku now with the ignite on him, managing to get up a flash going in, and Tranen picks up first blood after all of that. The flash play was there, and Heku completely out of position, really overstaying there.
You've got to question Heku. You were given a free 1v1 matchup early on because of an opponent's mistake, and then you just run 1v1 into the opposing jungle against the Nidalee when she's got the challenging smite and you've got the chilling smite. There is no way in hell you're winning that 1v1 matchup. And with Vladimir actually being able to roam in quicker than the Karma because the Karma was completely out of mana, that is Heku throwing away the lead that he had earlier on. So big mistake, and also we gotta say well played from Tranen. He does not look too sad right now, using the offensive flash to take down Heku right there. Good play from him as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And also, like, we gotta mention that Tranen, like, he made that first mistake, but from that point, he really has been stepping up to get back into this game. And with a little bit of a misplay from Heku, that is what he got. So Tranen is definitely back in a healthy position again, as Roligan now is up just 500 gold, but still going into the hands of Tranen. With all of the jungle pressure we've been talking about, that is big. So Roligan got everything they need at the moment.
And as we might have a bit of a lull in the action, let's speak a bit about what the team comps want to do, the strengths and the weaknesses. Earlier on, we talked about a 2-threat composition and the weaknesses. I think this was almost an extreme example of this for nDurance. it's almost like a 1.5 threat composition. You can kind of counter Karma, but she's more of a shielding champion and goes for like the items like the Athene's Unholy Grail later on for more supportive healing. So this is going to be so much weight onto Azidor's shoulders. And yes, he has like the Stand United and the Karma shields to keep him safe. But if he ever goes down in a team fight, if he gets hit up by a combo from Tronen or someone else, it's going to be so hard. Tronen
doesn't have any mana. He has been caught up, but here comes the rest of the team. Again, Roligan is there first to save him, and he gets out. Croxy got the rocket jump as well, so he's not in a bad position. It's the only problem they have is if Alec somehow is caught out. I don't think he's going to be. So a bit of a cheeky invade again by Roligan, but here comes the response from nDurance. Not going to let them get away, but Touch misses the taunt. Did not want to go for the taunt flash. And they're going to actually let Roligan just back off, as nDurance has found a lot of gold in the CS instead. They're now quite tied again.
We talked about mid lane pressure advantage should go over to nDurance early on with the Karma matchup, as well as the TP versus the Ignite in the mid lane. But so far, Alec has been getting both a CS lead and been quick around the roams to help out his jungler. So Roligan really playing well together as a team, and I thought that like getting shut down early on by your own mistake, not buying the item, would be a big like drain on your mental energy. But they've been catching up so well. They've been really starting to catch up, ahead in the gold, ahead in the kills, and Tronen is showing that this Nidalee might not have been such a bad pick after all.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm quite impressed with the way Tronen has played, coming from that position that he was in. Also looking at the top lane, the non-disc on Sion this time around has been playing a great lane. With all of the pressure that Tronen puts down, Heku has not been able to visit him at all. So in a 1v1 versus the Ornn for Nihus, he doesn't have any problem up almost 2 waves against Nihus Ornn.
Good laning so far from nDisco. Of course, this is an 8.4, so Ornn has been hit by some pretty massive nerfs. Honestly, he was looking really good before that, but at this point, his laning has been weakened, his W has been weakened, so nDisco really utilizing that and showing who is the stronger top laner, at least when it comes to the laning phase. Let's take a look a bit more at the team comps though, how they want to set this up. It looks like NDG wants to use the top lane advantage. Call of the Torch God is just on cooldown for a couple of seconds longer, so 3-man dive top lane while Infernal Dragon is started.
Infernal Dragon is going to be given away, but this is the counter kill. Who's gonna get it? It's non-disc will be allowed to pick it up just as Infernal Dragon goes down on bottom lane. So nDurance opting to go for the kill top, as Roligan went with the Dragon instead, and maybe even mid turret, although top turret is very low in comparison, but Tristana has so much DPS on the turret with 4 men here from Roligan. This is actually looking to be.
They can get another mid lane tower. What a rotation from Roligan. I thought they were going to be losing out hard on this tower engagement, but they were thinking so quickly. They got the attack speed boost from the Nidalee together with the Tristana. 2 mid lane towers. Huge win from Roligan.
And Roligan half HP on the second tier turret in mid lane. Jamaru coming in with the teleport is going to poke a little bit on Proxy. And this is a 2 versus 4 at the moment, starting it up. There comes the rest of the team, but a great Glacial Fissure is going to force down this back off. Nihus, though, has disconnected while that happened, and that is big. But Alex still chasing this down, going in with the Sanguine Pool, still staying very healthy, forcing nDurance to back off.
Wow.
The game has been paused, as just as he mentioned. Roligan got engaged on, and it was very big that Nihus was not able to teleport in. He just disconnected. But still, I mean, Roligan played that fight very well, even 1 man short.
Absolutely. Going into a 4 versus 5 and still playing that well. I mean, their champions are really strong at this point. You've got a good power spike on the Vladimir with a Proto Belt, with level 9 getting picked up as well, together with Tronen, who is really providing a lot more pressure than Heku on the Sejuani right now. But still, that should have been looking better for nDurance. Roligan are really stepping up right now after having a tough game 1. And so far, they've almost picked up as many kills in 10 minutes as they did in like 30-something minutes on the first game.
Yeah, I mean, this is a completely different Roligan from game 1. And what I enjoy watching right now from Roligan is that they're actually playing to their own strengths. Like, we question the team composition, and I believe still that is okay for us to question the team composition. I still don't quite believe in it, but the way that Roligan are playing with it, that is what makes me believe. So I really think they're doing a great job on that. nDurance, on the other hand, played much more desperately in that fight. I'm not quite sure what the call was with Jamero teleporting in, nDurance following up, but the rest of the team took a few more seconds to get into the fight. And I mean, versus a team comp like Roligan's, I mean, it's so easy for them to just either disengage or just keep kiting and poking back. So nDurance had to flash out of the fight before the rest of the team could even rejoin. And that is not the calm and collected nDurance we watched in Game 1.
Yeah, for sure. What I really want to see nDurance do right now is to utilize their globals to make smart plays on towards the map. That was my one big criticism in game number 1, that they were not able to use the Abyssal Voyage to pick out an opposing member, like even once, I think, and they were not able to use the mid lane teleport to any great effect as well. This time they actually have a true global on the support with a Stun United. They also got some good pressure on towards the Scion with the global pressure and the TP mid, and they've not been able to make any sort of smart plays with that. Stun United has not been used once, so really want to see nDurance step that up.
Nihus right now just trying to slow down nDurance, getting the bottom turret, and he's actually managing to do it right now. Turret still standing, top turret going down together with the Rift Herald as well. Roligan taking control. Nihus might be caught out here. Flash even is going to be used to capture him together with the taunt. Will be another kill. Finally, Astor picking that one up together with the turret now, just as Rift Herald is delivered into the hands of Roligan. But I still think Roligan are quite happy with this. And look how long it takes for them to get this bottom lane turret. Heku is have to tank so much as well, still not getting it. And here, oh, that is big! That is big. nDurance stops Tronen from getting the Rift Herald. Otherwise, that turret would have been dust. Turret were already below half HP in mid lane. The Rift Herald would definitely have gotten it. The nDurance denying a huge chunk of global gold from Roligan.
Tronen is making our jobs so hard because I really want to praise him for his good plays, but he's making 2 huge mistakes this game as well. So while he's keeping the pressure on, while he's contributing so much to the sieges of his teams, 2 big mistakes has meant this Nidalee is not contributing as much as it should be, but he's still showing how good Tristan and Nidalee is in combination when going for the tower kills, and thus they've been able to get 2 outer towers in top and mid, and almost the entire tier 2 mid lane tower as well. So the team of Roligan really needs to keep the vision up, to find the catches and prioritize vision denial. A lot of vision wards, a lot of red trinkets to sweep away the enemy wards, to keep finding the picks with Tronen, and then just transition into getting towers.
It is quite worrying that Tronen is making these mistakes, because he's kind of on a time limit here with the Nidalee into the triple tank comp from nDurance. I mean, at some point, he is going to be the Nidalee that kind of throws spears and like doesn't really do anything. So the longer it takes for them to get these objectives, the less he's going to be able to do. So I am worried about Tronen, and of course, this shows how much pressure is really on both of these junglers, as they were like what we concluded game 1 being who was the best jungler. And Tronen was sort of a little bit behind. Now he's kind of just a little bit ahead of Heku, but at the same time, like, he could be so much further ahead. It's really annoying, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, with the early game disaster, I think he's been catching up greatly, but still could have been a lot better. Looking at the team, though, I think the big story for Roligan is while Tronen is able to snowball, while there are small CS advantages in both the jungle and the mid lane, Nihus is getting so starved at the moment. Level 10 is not that low, but still 30 CS down compared to nDisco, so this Ornn is really not having too good of a time. Oh, Touch getting caught out, though.
Touch has been caught out, still is tanky enough to survive it. But being chunked out like that is going to spell a much harder sieging now They're gonna try to stop this dragon from being killed. Infernal Dragon would be the second Infernal Dragon that Roligan got this game, if they can get it. But this is big.
Good flanking setup from nDurance. They have members on both sides of Roligan, so this is a very hard position. With sort of a poke comp, you really don't want to be starting up these objectives, so I like the chances for nDurance here.
Look at Nihus taking a lot of damage. Unbreakable has been used now, and this is when nDurance is looking to start off the fight. Instead, it's Roligan going for it, gonna force the flash instead. Now nDurance turning back again with the double kill to nonDisc, giving that gold something to do, as he had such a huge lead in the top lane and really goes to show what a Sion can do when he gets going. A big counter engage by nDurance, gonna pick up the Infernal Dragon, and Roligan now falling behind in game 2 as well.
Two interesting things happened there. Oh, let's see if Ella gets caught out. No, is able to stay safe there. But two things that were very interesting happened there. One is that Roligan got overconfident. As this sort of a Nidalee comp, you really don't want to be starting up the objectives. You want to be harassing the enemies while they are starting up the objectives. So getting a bit overconfident there. But also nDurance had a great team fight setup in the Dragon area like that. Having tanks coming in from both sides to start out the flanking position, as happened right there, is really what you want to do. They did a great job of it. We're able to close back on the back line, and as a Tori, we're able to stay safe as the big damage dealer. So I really like the team fight from nDurance there, and if Roligan gets overconfident again, nDurance sure showed that they can punish them.
Yeah, Roligan, we talked about it earlier, like with the Vladimir and the Tristana. It's not really what you want to talk about, like as an early game, kind of like early game carries. And of course you have the Nidalee, but Nidalee, as you also mentioned, it's a poke champion. Really getting overconfident, overplaying their hand. And I think Roligan are starting to get just a little bit impatient as they are trying to force things across the map now.
Oh, Tronin's gonna catch it. nonDisc here.
Yeah, nonDisc, is he going to be able to get out of this? He's looking for an opportunity to use his ultimate, waiting with it, and actually just gonna walk away. He has the Mercury threads, he's so tanky.
Though.
Oh, he turns back again, but the ultimate is used perfectly. Can't CC Sion while he's using his ultimate. Used to get away from all of the team. And now Glacial Prison used in mid lane against Alec. Not going to hit anything but air. And Roligan pushing in the bottom lane turret instead. Again, I mean, nDurance is doing a great job on the map.
Sloppy Alec right there. You're not supposed to be pushing up in a 1v3 when you know you have 3 people down in the bottom side. When you're going for the gank on towards nonDisc, just stay safe under your tower. Forced to use the flash, also lost out on the mid lane tower. And this might be tier 2 top going down for nDurance, so they are really throwing the gauntlet in Roligan's face. Gonna be starting up the siege right now, and Roligan just recalled. They are gonna go for this. Will he start out the fight? Call of the Forge God not available, was used in the mid lane.
Yeah, nDurance again just showing these fantastic rotations. Like at any point where Roligan thinks like the pressure has been let up and they're starting to recall, they're just trying to regroup, there is nDurance just abusing it, getting a healthy chunk of damage off the top lane tier 2 turret. They got a little bit of damage to the mid lane turret as well. And nDurance now, like, again, they're starting to look like the team who won game 1. They had to struggle a little bit during the laning, especially looking at the jungler where Heku gave that first blood to Tronin. But from that point on, I mean, again, now 5-2, got a little bit of a gold lead and just starting to control the map.
Let's talk about Touch a bit. I think he's an interesting player. He had a great Tahm Kench in game number 1. Right now he's picking the support Shen. So you have to ask yourself, why would you pick the Shen over another support? What does he contribute that no other support does? The global presence from the Stand United allows you to make such interesting plays on towards the map. You can like go and gank the bottom lane right now, like with the taunt, and then if the Baron is up, you can then use the Stand United to get in there, so you can make many interesting plays on towards the map. How many good Stand Uniteds have we seen Touch make this game, Sang?
No, it's true. It hasn't been.
I don't think he's used it once.
No, he hasn't really been using it. I think like he's the kind of player who wants to try to hold on to it, like because sometimes an ability like puts down more pressure if you don't use it, so to speak. But I feel like he's holding on to it like for too long. At some point, it's just not going to put down any pressure anymore.
Oh, good taunt though.
Just as we say that, that's a fantastic taunt. Ignite is down there as well, and the Rooted and Shooted Tron has nowhere to run. Teleport interrupted as well, as there was nothing there to teleport into and to save. And Baron now immediately being focused by nDurance.
nihus is not here. He is down at the Baron pit, so needs to run up here.
Ooh, flash taunt being used on Alec. Glacial Fissure going down is going to save him for a while, but he cannot survive for too long. He has nowhere to run to, but here comes the Ornn, turning it back again. Alec being the main focus, still alive and healthy, just gaining HP as the fight progresses. And now instead, it's nNDisc who's a little bit of trouble, as Croxy was in the backline that entire time, just poking and forcing nDurance to back off, as Roligan somehow made that work.
Thronin getting caught by a great taunt from Touch. Caster Curse really hitting us there as we started to criticize his Shen. And the following team fight was so close. Alec was really close to going down there, but just got the heal in from the Hemo Plague. Even though the Morellonomicon is completed for Yamaru for those grievous wounds, Vladimir is starting to become such of a nuisance in these team fights, such a strong team fighting champion, especially if it's going towards his Zhonya's Hourglass now. He's going to be so annoying to take down. So Alec didn't have the most presence early on, but he's really starting to transition into a very strong team fighting champion.
He's definitely making this Vladimir pick work for him. Still kind of not convinced completely that like it's the strongest type of champion for him, but also together with Keaton. I mean, Keaton's Glacial Fissure was on point in that fight, and of course it's not too hard to hit a perfect Glacial Fissure where your entire enemy team is just grouped onto a Vladimir in a Sanguine pool, but still you gotta give your credit to Keaton for keeping Alec alive for such a long time.
Now this is once more where nDurance is double TP available. They are setting up for a 1-3-1 split push, but Yamaru in an extended 1v1 with Alec is going to be losing out to the sustain of the Vladimir, so I'm not sure how much they're going to be benefiting from this double TP. Actually, there is no TP for nihus though, so if nDisc forces a 1v1 with him in the bottom lane, then it's going to be a TP advantage that could be abused.
Yamaru forcing the 1 versus 1 instead up top lane is going to make Alec back off just a little bit, as Yamaru's Karma is also something that, like in game 2, was sort of hiding in the back line. You sort of notice him from time to time, but not enough to force a ban from Roligan. And I'm not quite convinced that like the bans they went with were the correct choices. Like, Yamaru's Karma is actually very strong. It is something that you really need to look out for going into more games versus nDurance, as I think like he's the key component as to keeping the team alive in a lot of different situations and to choosing which fights they want to have and which fights they don't.
Yeah, really is the glue that's keeping the team together right now. Has a slight gold disadvantage compared to his mid lane opponent, but just looking at the gold, it is really even, about 1.5k ahead for nDurance, and most of that is in the top lane. As we can see, 60 CS lead for nDisc, who had an awesome game on the Kled earlier, and is showing up on the Scion. Not the biggest carry champion, but really showing that he can play a strong tank as well.
Yeah, you kind of think that when you see him on Kled, like, okay, so he is the kind of super aggressive top laner that's going to pick these kind of split pushers, but now instead, like, he's doing very well on Sion, which is definitely like the kind of team fight champion. And Heku there using his Glacial Prison just to force Tronen to flash. That is also a very big play from nDurance, yet again just taking control of every objective.
Yeah, showing that the Baron dancing is going well for nDurance. If we can get a quick vision toggle here, we see that they're so good at baiting around the Baron. As I say that, there is a trinket in the Baron pit itself. But I mean,
it's just removed, so it's okay. It's
getting
okay.
the flash on the Nidalee there really shows that they're able to bait around this objective. And when you've got good catch potential, as you've got with a Sejuani, a Shen, and a Sion, staying on top of the vision here is going to mean that it's going to be so annoying for Roligan. No blue trinkets available for Roligan eSports means oh, so close.
Very close indeed, but look at the damage from Croxy. Getting 2 crits off on Asiter. That was very important. Croxy also like kind of a play we've been talking a lot about earlier in other games. Sort of forgotten about for this game as we've been only focusing on Tronen, but Croxy now is actually doing quite well on the Tristana. He's the kind of backline player as well. You don't really see him do a lot, and then all of a sudden he has like a triple kill or a quadra from nowhere.
Yeah, just take a quick look at Tronen's items build here. This is not the big carrying Nidalee that's going to be jumping at your backline and assassinating someone. This is transitioning into more of a supportive champion that's going to be staying next to Croxy with the heals. Of course, Ardent, Sensor, and Athene's Unholy Grail means big heals and big buffs are going to be coming out of Croxy. Of course, you've got both the natural attack speed coming from the Nidalee E as well as the Ardent Sensor stacking there. So really going to be getting some big buffs on towards Croxy, but also it's going to be kind of a secondary support there in the jungle, so not the big damage dealer that we might have been hoping for.
Yeah, definitely not. At the same time, like, I think it's a very smart choice opting to go with the sort of supportive style Nidalee instead of the damage. As we were talking about earlier, like with all of these tanks, it's a really interesting way to adapt to the situation. And oh, he didn't miss that ward. I thought for a second that he had placed his ward just a little bit too high and that he didn't see it, but no, he spotted it.
You can see here that this javelin's hitting on the squishiest member, still not doing too much damage right now and there on the tank. Not doing too much at all, so more and more weight is being placed on Croxy's shoulders as he's picking up more items. We do have a very strong 3-item power spike for Alec though, Proto Belt and the Hourglass, very strong core items on the Vladimir. Of course, the combo, since you've got so short cooldowns on your E and your Q, is to use those 2 abilities and then use the pool. Then you can use those abilities again. You can Sonius, then you can EQ again. So Vladimir really abusing the short cooldowns here with a lot of cooldown reduction in his item build as well as that Sonius.
See, Tronen tries to go in for an engage here, and oh, they actually find it. Touch in a little bit of trouble, has to run away from Croxy. Hemo Plague is down on him and Asiter as well, but there's United and United is not enough. Asiter is destroyed before any response is there, and nDurance trying to re-engage it with Nonagis. He is not a damage dealer, and apparently he's not a very strong tank either, as with the combined force of Roligan, he dies instantly. 2 members down, 28 minutes in, but oh, Yamiru! He finds the pickup on Keaton, turning it back again. Croxy jumping over the wall, looking for some more, looking for a chase, finds Yamiru. Yamiru's flashing, trying to get out. Can he get away from this? Shield is up, and he manages to run away. Delaying this might be enough to stop the Baron take from Roligan. Not quite sure. They're still gonna go for it. Alex, so tanky with the blood transfusion, is going to stay healthy even while tanking. No ward still here, as nDurance are now looking for a way to turn it back into the game. They wanna play. Baron very low, getting dangerous here. Can he be able to get it? No, Heike goes in for it, does not get it. Alex on a killing spree, picking him up as he also gets Baron at the same time. No smite used by Tronen. A bit of another misplay from Tronen. Still works out great as it is the Baron and 3 kills for Roligan.
Such a crazy turn of events right there as the Roligan takes the advantage there once more. Absolutely huge. And we're seeing this supportive Nidalee build boosting Croxy to insane levels. We're talking about buffs of 70% attack speed off the heal in human form and another 30 coming in from the Ardent Sensor. That's gonna mean that Croxy with the Q on is at max attack speed with 3 items completed. That is absolutely insane. Tristana with max attack speed is definitely one of the scariest words you can hear in League of Legends. And if that was not scary enough, Tristana with max attack speed and double Infernal Dragon is going to be even scarier.
Yeah, even scarier. Roligan gets the Infernal Dragon. No real response from nDurance. A little poke from Acitor, just trying to see if he could get lucky. But to no avail. Acitor also, like, kind of has been quite underwhelming this game from being the main carry with the Tristana. Instead, going with Saya, and has not been able to do very much with it. He is in this difficult position where you really need to play so smart to know when you can go in and when you can't. And we saw last fight, like, he was there and then a second later he just had to run away immediately.
Yeah, and he is the big damage dealer. He is the one that needs to snowball. Sure, there is a death cap and Luden Seko on towards Yamaru, but the big damage dealer is Acitor. He's the one that needs to step up, and right now he's just getting outplayed and outshined by Croxy's huge Tristana with so much support coming in from the entire team. And this is a banner Baron minion gonna be sieging down the base of nDurance. I'm not sure what they can do.
This is very hard for them as they can't get any damage onto the banner minion. Acitor does not have the range that it takes, and Yamaru only has the magic damage. I mean, he can't clear these waves when the Baron buff is there. Also, like, together with the Baron buff as well, the AoE damage, like, Yamaru can't do anything right now.
Bottom lane looks to be the next focus, and look at that item build for Nihus. There is another banner.
Non-disc uses ultimate to run away, but is stuck between a rock and a hard place as there's nowhere to run. And with the Baron minion again empowered by the banner, this looks to be another turret taken down by Roligan.
Nondisco actually got some damage on the minions there with his ulti, which I think is good for him, but still, yeah, looks to be difficult to see as the Baron minion is whacking away here. There is a smite for Heko, which goes down right there, but the Banner minion still looking strong.
Still stands! Can't say the same about Heku as he has to run away with the tail between his legs just to avoid Croxy. Croxy really stepping up this game. Also, we gotta commend Alec on the Vladimir. We doubted that it was the champion that fit his play style, but to be honest, this is the best we have seen Alec play, I think, in any of the games we have seen him so far. Just up against nDurance, who on a mechanical level is a very strong team, on a rotational level a very strong team. He's just been on point with his Vladimir, really making it look good.
Yeah, able to make this champion work, and we mentioned the weird combination of the Vladimir and the Nidalee. Not only a weak early game combination, but also later on lacks the CC coming in from either the mid lane or the jungle roles, which can come to hurt you. But we've been seeing Kidden doing such a good job on this Braum, and while Nihus has not been shining too much, yeah, the Braum ultis, the calls of the Forge Gods has been on point. Right now there's actually a Molten Edge getting completed from Croxy, so even more attack speed and crit coming in right there. And with max attack speed from the Ardent and the Nidalee heals, Croxy is going to be absolutely insane. Looking at the NGG though, is there anyone who can take down Croxy? Can they snipe this AD carry? I am afraid the answer is no. Karma cannot put down enough burst damage to burst through all the heals and the shields. I don't think Saya would be able to do anything in a 1v1 right now. So, I mean, for NDG to come out on top here, the big chance would be for Croxy to misstep, to miss position in a team fight. If not, I think he's going to be able to clean up almost any situation.
Heku spotted all the wards. Roligan not giving him any opportunities to engage, find Croxy as Croxy goes in, even to DPS. Now Nidis tries to go in, actually finds the pick on Keaton, keeping this up. Gonna chase it down, but Alec going in deep towards the back line, finds the kill even on Acitor, but Croxy goes in as well, being so huge in these fights with the double kill, turning it back, and Alec as well with the triple kill, keeping his ADC company when going for the final fight, going in for the Nexus and picking up game 2, giving it into a 1-1 between nDurance and Roligan.
And talk about playing from behind. You pick a really weird mid-jungle combination. You start the game without any items on your jungler, so you don't even hit level 2 from your red buff, but you're still able to snowball early on and keep that going. And just Croxy coming up absolutely huge. The supportive style with Nidalee really worked out. And even though the fight towards that inhibitor looked to be like a good start for nDurance, there was nothing they could do against Croxy. No one could touch this Tristana.
Yeah, I mean, the Tristana was definitely one of the huge parts as to why this worked out as well as it did. As long as Croxy was alive, like after like the dust settled and all of the CC was done and dealt with, he could just keep jumping and finish off every single member of nDurance. But I also have to mention that like Alcitor was sort of non-existent. Like, I really got to question the Saya pick. I really got to question that you don't go with the Saya Rakan. You go instead and you wait it out and you sort of like, I think they sort of outthink themselves going into this pick and ban, because we didn't really see him do anything throughout the game. I felt like he was always in the backline, and then all of a sudden there is Alec, and before he can even get one auto attack off, Alec finishes him off without even being able to like DPS even a tank. So really got to question that pick.
Agree with you totally on the bottom lane picks for nDurance. Saya first pick, by the way, with every AD but Caitlyn open, and I think that's fine if you're going for the Rakan combo to just snowball the 2v2 lanes to play really aggressively, but that's absolutely not what they did. They were passive, they were not able to get any advantages, and not only did the Saya do too much, but they were not really able to utilize the Shen's strengths either. Either you pick him because you want a flex pick for a top lane, maybe to avoid a bad matchup for the Shen, so you send him to the support role, but then you use the Stand United on the map to make plays globally, and they were simply not able to. And impressed by Roligan, not impressed by nDurance.
Yeah, really, this is a very strange thing to say about nDurance that we praised so much in Game 1, but they, to be honest, looked like they didn't have a game plan in this game. So it's very strange. Also, the way that Astor played on Tristana for Game 1, with everything they put in his hands, even with Jamero with the Karma pick as well, and now all of a sudden you're just going to give that away to Croxy and be completely irrelevant throughout the game. Strange Game 2, but congratulations to Roligan for picking it up and making the series even with a 1-1 tie. So that is where we're going to end for now, as we're going to a quick break, but don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.